This is Al Brooks, and this is my price action trading course. This module is about my setup. It's pretty simple. I use a laptop computer, and it's not particularly expensive. It's a very average laptop. I use a 5-minute candle chart and a 20-bar exponential moving average, and I do not use any indicators. So for example, here is a daily chart of the EWZ. I have a 20-bar exponential moving average. Since this is a daily chart, each bar is 1 day, so the 20-bar exponential moving average is a 20-day moving average in this particular case. On a 5-minute chart, the 20-bar exponential moving average would be 5 20-minute bars. When I look at the 5-minute chart, here's a 5-minute chart of PBR, Petrobras, and when I look at the 5-minute chart, I have my 20-bar exponential moving average, but I usually have 2 other moving averages as well. This one is also a 20-bar moving average, but it's based upon the 15-minute chart. So in other words, it's based upon 20 15-minute bars, and this other line is also a 20-bar exponential moving average, but it's based on the 60-minute chart. In other words, this line is exactly at the prices that I would see the line on a 60-minute chart. So it's helpful. So here you can see the market is forming a double top at the 60-minute moving average. So if this was a 60-minute bar chart, this would be right at the 60-minute moving average. I keep my blinds closed. I don't take calls, and I don't watch television. Occasionally I'll get a phone call from one of my daughters or one of my sons, and I'll take that call, but otherwise I don't take calls. And I ignore the news. I ignore the pundits. I know when there are reports at 7 o'clock or an FOMC report, and when the reports come out, I usually do not trade, at least for several seconds, maybe for several minutes. I don't care what the pundits say the report means. There's going to be a bullish case and a bearish case, and they're going to put one pundit on, and that pundit will be either a bull or a bear, and that's not telling me what the 200 or 300 firms on the who are trading aggressively think that the market is doing in response to the report. The only way I know how the market thinks the report is by looking at the charts. Pundit on television is only giving me one side. Also, I don't want any distractions, and I don't want anybody else's opinions. I just want to analyze what's going on myself. And I'm also very focused when I'm what's my job? It's simple. It's to take money from other people's accounts and to put it into my account. And that, we're all playing the same game. We all, it's no secret. Everyone's trying to take money from everyone else. Goldman Sachs is trying to take money from Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley's trying to take money from Citibank. Hedge funds are trying to take money from everybody else. That's just the game that we're playing. I have a 60-40 rule. And sometimes on television you'll see someone insisting that the market is definitely going up or definitely going down, or some report is definitely bullish or bearish. Nothing works all of the time. Everything works some of the time. Most things work 40 to 60% of the time. So I think we live in a world where the probability is 40 to 60%. And Alan Greenspan once said that he was very proud that he was right about 70% of the time. So here he is, the chairman of the Fed, and he's making the rules and he's controlling the game, and even with that he could still be right only 70% of the time. So most traders are going to live in a world where the probability is 40 to 60%. If you think something is higher than that, you're probably wrong. If you think something is less likely than 40%, you're probably wrong. If things get outside of that band, there will not be institutions taking the other side of the trade. and they'll hammer it back into the band. Remember, the market stays pretty much in balance. There'll be an equal number, or approximately an equal number of institutions on one side as there are on the other side. And if the market gets too heavy on one side, it will regress toward the mean. Whenever someone says that he has something better than 60-40, there are certain pundits that they put on television who talk with certainty that something is going to happen. I never believe them. Whenever a person is that certain or confident, he is not honest, and he's out there selling something. Perfect trades cannot exist because there has to be institutions taking the other side. And if something was perfectly right, that means the other institutions would have to be perfectly wrong. And since these institutions are pretty much balanced on both sides, it would be impossible for that to happen. How can price action trading work if everyone knows it? Trading is very difficult to do. Even when you're very good, your margin for error is very small, and every mistake works against you. The best analysis is right only about 60 to 70% of the time. I often have days when I don't lose at all, right? That doesn't mean I'm 100% right. It just means I was, lucky on that day. Really good traders, for the most part, are not going to be right, more than 70% of the time, unless they're scalpers. I scalp most of the time. I do try to swing during the day, but most of my trades are scalps. And that's the only way you can get a high winning percentage. You're competing against the very best traders in the world, the smartest people in the world, and it's basically a zero-sum game. And everyone wants to take money from everyone else. Okay? There's a huge difference between knowing how to do something really well and playing it well enough to make a living. A soccer player, he may know how to play, for example, a coach, but that does not mean he's able to make a living doing it. You can know a lot about trading, but you have to have a lot of experience to be able to trade well enough to make a living. Who's the mark? In poker, you often hear about, oh, that guy's the mark. And in poker, if you're playing poker and you're with on a table, 6 people, 8 people, and you don't know who the mark is, who the loser is, then you're probably the mark. And in trading, someone is always trapped on the wrong side of the market. And if you don't know who's trapped, you'll probably discover that you're trapped, that you're on the wrong side and you're holding a losing position. It's very important to understand that 60-40 rule. If you don't believe that the exact opposite can happen, the exact opposite of what you believe will happen, if you don't believe that the exact opposite can happen 40% of the time, you'll be trapped into bad positions and out of good positions. You have to be very fluid about this and with your beliefs. You have to change. When the market is giving you evidence that your current belief is wrong, just take the opposite belief, and there's nothing wrong with that. The market does that all the time. It's always reversing all day long. So it's you should change your opinion all day long, repeatedly. Can you get trapped out of a good trade? Sure. Here's a strong bull trend, right? And then you got several strong bars, and some bulls would have exited below this strong bear bar, especially since it's the second bear bar. And if you were one of those traders who exited out because of all these bear bodies, and then you see a potential buy signal, just get right back in. If you get trapped out, of a good trade, you just get right back in. You don't feel embarrassed about it. That's just the way the market works. It's always trying to trap traders out, and if you see that you were wrong in believing that the trade was bad, that a long trade was bad, and you got another buy signal, just go ahead and buy. Don't worry. This is the end of the module on my setup.